There is not like one way to become a top teacher. I can't guarantee you that these tips are gonna work because Skillshare needs to see value in your classes and see that you are committed and putting quality content out there. Hi everybody, how's it going? Today I have a very special video for you. I'm gonna talk about how I became a Skillshare Top Teacher in 4 or 5 months. If I was just starting out, I wish I had a video like this to watch, so I'm gonna do it and maybe there's one person out there that's gonna be interested. I'm doing this for you. First things first, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about how it happened for me, and then in the end, some key takeaways that I took from the experience and that if I was just starting out, that I would follow. If you don't know what a top teacher is, it's a program that Skillshare offers their teachers. It gives a bunch of amazing tools and support for the teachers to grow on the platform, and to be invited to participate on the program, you need to be the top highest performing classes in the platform, which I know sounds overwhelming, but I started from nothing. I had no audience, no promotion, no marketing, and I was invited to become a top teacher after 4 or 5 months in the platform. I decided to teach my first class in January of 2021, and I wasn't sure exactly what to teach. I could teach Photoshop, I could teach drawing, I could teach digital illustration. There were so many approaches to my work that I could teach, but I asked myself, what am I most passionate about? Like, what is something that really moves me and that I could speak about for hours? And it's drawing with ink pens. I developed the concept for the class. I created a project because all classes on Skillshare are project based. Watched a bunch of tutorials on how to edit the videos, how to film. I was starting from scratch. I knew nothing about film production, editing, video making, nothing. It took me weeks on just learning, and my mantra at the time was done is better than perfect. I was like, I'm just gonna do this, and it doesn't matter if it's good. If it sucks, it sucks. After I posted my first class in February of 2021, I started seeing results after 2 weeks. So like, I posted the class, did no marketing, didn't share on my Instagram. I literally didn't talk to anyone about it. I put it in the platform and trusted that their algorithm would bring me students. And in the beginning, I had like 1 or 2 students a day, which is super low. But then around the 2-week mark, I started having like 30 students and then 40 students a day. And I think I was very insecure at the time. I was trying to find an excuse, like maybe there's a bug in the platform. Maybe someone I know found out and shared for me. Like, who would do that? There was no explanation. So I just had to accept that people actually liked the class. And I was like, no, there's no way. There's no way someone's clicking on my class and watching the whole thing. I was in disbelief. By the end of that month, I had made $300 for the first time. It was like my first class, my first month on Skillshare. I made $300. What? Completely shocked. I decided to create a second class. I thought maybe I should do something different. So I did a Photoshop class on how to illustrate on Photoshop, and this is my least watched class to this day. I still have, I think, 100 students today, like 2 years later. That's all I got for this class. It's a very unpopular class, but I didn't give up. I decided to post a few more classes. My third class was on how to draw botanicals, which is a very popular topic. My fourth class was on how to draw like Zentangles, and it was more of like an abstract drawing. And this fourth class was a class that anyone could do. Like, my classes before were more like on the intermediate side, and they were more for people who had already a little bit of experience. And when I posted my fourth class, then I got staff picked, which is a little badge that Skillshare puts on your class as one of the best classes that are in the platform. They do that to differentiate between the classes they consider high quality, and this is a requirement for you to become a top teacher. After this class, about like a month later, I was invited to the top teacher program, and then they put me in the community with all the other top teachers, and it's this like amazing, incredible community of creatives. So anyway, this was how it happened for me. This was my timeline. Your timeline might be different. I know teachers that took a year to become top teachers that became top teachers sooner than me. these are basically the takeaways I take from this experience. And if I were you and I was like just starting out, or if I'm already teaching on Skillshare but I want to become a top teacher, this is what I would focus on. First, read the teacher handbook. If you go on their website, if you scroll the page down to the bottom, there's gonna be a link to the teacher handbook. It's a bunch of articles. Read through them all more than once, okay? I read through them like multiple times, and there are topics you can't teach on Skillshare. They want you to teach creative skills, how to choose your topic on what you're gonna teach. I think one of the most important things is for you to teach what you are passionate about. Like, there is probably someone else already teaching what you want to teach, because this is the internet 2022. Everybody's here. Hello guys, hello. That doesn't mean what you have to say is not important, because it's your own approach, it's your own perspective, and that's cool. People want to see your version of it. I know that the arts channel I'm creating here on YouTube, a lot of people are already talking about this stuff, and that kept me from being here this whole time, because I was like,
well, people are already talking about art. People are so much better than me. Who am I to even talk about it?
But like, let's stop that. Just stop it, okay? I'm here, I'm talking, you're watching me. Isn't this amazing? Like, it's happening. The fact that you're here watching me proves that someone's gonna watch you. It helps when you talk about something that you love, something that you have experience with, something you are very skilled at, and something that you could like spend hours talking. The third thing, you're gonna define the project for your class. My first class was drawing a creative surrealistic piece with ink pens. So the project was to create a surrealistic drawing. I had a botanical class. The project was to draw flowers. You just have to give them a project to finish using the skills that you're gonna teach in the class. Make a list of everything you're gonna teach and break it down into steps. Those steps are gonna be your lessons. So for example, for a surrealistic drawing with ink pens, I did a writing exercise to find out the topic. I did the sketching with a pencil. Then I did the outline with an ink pen. Then I created textures with the ink pen. Then I created shadows with the ink pen. Before doing this, everything was one thing. The whole process of creating the drawing was one thing, but I had to break it down into sections for the class. Next thing, make a list of footages that you want. For me, it was very easy. I was drawing, so I needed footage of my hand drawing and footage of me speaking to the camera to do the introduction of the class, like, hi everybody, welcome, this class is about this, and bye, thank you for watching. So I needed these two main shots. My first class, this was it. I had one camera filming my hand on an angle like this, drawing, and I had the camera facing me, introducing the class, and then I recorded my voice on top of the drawing later. Very simple. So yeah, you just have to make a list of shots that you need, putting yourself in your student's shoes. Like, if you were the student listening to your class, what would I like to see? Would I like to see the drawing on this angle, maybe this angle? Maybe it's not drawing, maybe it's digital, so you need to record your screen, but maybe you need another angle of you showing your hand, drawing with a pencil on the iPad or whatever. One tip I have for you is, like, if you have two cameras, which I use this camera and my phone. It's not even an iPhone. I am saving to get an iPhone because camera of the iPhone is amazing. If you have an iPhone, you're ready, okay? You can start doing your class right now. This is a Google Pixel. It's pretty good. I've been filming all my classes on this and it works pretty well. It's not perfect, but I will improve when I can. It's just really great to film in two angles, in two cameras, because sometimes your camera dies, you don't even notice, and then you lose part of the footage. Sometimes it gets out of focus. Like in my first class, most of the class is out of focus because I used automatic focus, and then instead of the camera focusing on the drawing, it would focus on my hand, and then the drawing was blurred. Most of the classes like this. This is my first class, is like really clumsy, but it was it. It's one of my popular classes, most popular classes to this day. It worked. You just have to do it. Perfectionism is not welcome. Another thing that changed the game for me was getting a microphone. Audio is essential. If you can invest in a microphone, I would do it. Invest in good lighting. Lighting is super cheap, okay? You can go on Amazon and buy a big soft light so you're not depending on the natural light, because like, for example, my drawings take hours, sometimes days to finish, and the lighting is always changing. In the beginning, I didn't have the light, so I could only film during the day, and when the sun was going down, I had to stop filming just because I didn't have light, and it would look really weird if like the light was completely changed. I need to say this, editing is very time consuming. It's more time consuming than you think, and if you think it's time consuming, it's more, okay? I don't even know how it takes that long, but it does, and the more you practice, the faster you're gonna become, but it is still time consuming, okay? It still takes a long time. Just so you know, I take about like a month to 3 months to finish a class that's gonna be like an hour long. Don't beat yourself up, don't give up, and watch tutorials. On Skillshare, there's so many editing classes. You'll figure it out. Another thing I did when I was just starting out that I still love is investing in an Epidemic Sound subscription. They have royalty-free music and sound effects, and it's just amazing because you can download as many music as you want, and then you can make your class more dynamic and more interesting. Music is really important to me. I really think it sets the tone for my classes. I really use the music to create the vibe of the class. So like if I want a class that's more relaxing, I put some instrumental folk music or maybe like modern classical music. Or sometimes if I want a class that's more modern, more upbeat, I put like a more lo-fi chill hop style of music. The next thing is when you are teaching, make sure you're talking to your student. Even if it's just your voiceover and you're not on camera, which is totally fine, talk to your student.
You can do this. Now you follow this step. When you want to do this effect, you do this.
When you do this, you bring your student closer and you kind of like create this connection with them, and it feels like a conversation and makes them feel more comfortable. So yeah, remember to talk to your student. Another thing that's a big deal for Skillshare to see you as a good teacher for the Top Teacher program is for you to be an engaged person in the platform. So whenever someone posts a project in your classes, give feedbacks, like their posts. The more engaged you are, especially with your students, they see this as a really like high quality behavior, I guess, in the platform, and this is gonna help you become a top teacher. Another thing to think on the like overall aspect of your class is to make it entertaining. I think I heard them say this word edutaining, so like it's educational and also entertaining. This is the kind of content they like. So the more comfortable you are, which in the beginning is hard, like if you watch my first classes, I'm reading and being super stiff, and my most current classes I'm making jokes and I'm laughing and I'm creating little dialogues with myself. So like it's a time thing, don't worry, you're gonna get more comfortable with it. But the more authentic and the more yourself you can be, the better. You can be as creative as you want inside their guidelines, especially if you're teaching something creative. If you're into drawing like I am, or art in general, they're gonna like your content. Okay, the last tip I want to give to you is to, again, not create too much expectation. Relax. Done is better than perfect. Just do it. You don't need to have everything figured out in the beginning. You can figure it out as you go, okay? Set up a day where you're gonna film, and then you film, and then you figure out the editing later, and then you figure out, you know, the voiceover later. That's how I did it. There is not like one way to become a top teacher. I can't guarantee you that these tips are gonna work because the Top Teacher program is an invitation only program. Like Skillshare needs to see value in your classes and see that you are committed and putting quality content out there. If you really dive deep into Skillshare and see what classes they are pushing forward and what kind of content they want to promote, you're gonna understand what they want. They are a creative community, so they want creative content. If you are creating creative content, you are being authentic, you're being fun, you're focusing on something you're passionate about, and you're really sharing your unique perspective on it. You're on top of your game with audio quality, video quality, your editing, which you can start from the beginning and get better at it as you go. Don't worry about it too much, but they are gonna look into those things. If you're offering good projects and good feedback for your students, you're gonna be on a good path to become a top teacher. You can make good money on Skillshare that can help support your creative career and help you be the artist that you want to be. If you guys are interested in this, I can do another video on the financial aspect of it. If you're interested, just let me know in the comments and then I'll create this video for you. Teaching on Skillshare is a big commitment because it's very time consuming to create classes. It's a lot. Like, you need to really want it. You're gonna have to put lots of hours into it, but it pays off. Teaching and making art are two different things, and I found a passion for teaching through Skillshare. So this might not be for you, but I encourage you to try. If you have any specific questions in the comments, please let me know. I love talking about Skillshare, and I will love to answer any questions you have. Yeah, I hope this was helpful. Like and subscribe, please, if you want. No pressure. I'm gonna see you next week. Bye!